Well, I hope this finds everyone healthy and doing good. We've had quite a year so far and still got a lot left in front of us, and got a lot of important things coming up. Got an election in November that will decide the future and fate of this country. We also have an election tomorrow in Oklahoma, and one of the important positions that's going to be voted on is the position of sheriff. The current sheriff that we have, I don't know about budget numbers and all that kind of stuff that the former sheriff is throwing around. I do know that this sheriff's department does not collect as much money as the last one did, because the last one was arresting people and putting them in jail for marijuana, which it was the law then, I understand, but it is legal now, so there is a difference there. Also, the new sheriff had to replace all the old worn out vehicles and equipment and stuff. And also, the former sheriff boasts about how much money he saved by having inmates fix the food in the jail. Well, those guys, jails are notorious for hepatitis, all kinds of other disease, staph and things. Those guys have no food service experience. Most of them don't, unless maybe they worked at Mickey D's or something. But the extra money, you never know when. One of my sisters brought up a good point. Said, "What happens to somebody if their baby mama slips up on them and gets them put in jail over child support?" It does happen. You give them a little cash, think maybe that's going to take care of it. No, don't do that. Write a check, make sure it goes through the court. They don't accept anything else, and you will end up in jail. And so you're sitting there, and yeah, it's not supposed to be comfortable, but you don't want a piece of bologna that's been laying on the counter for a couple hours because these guys are doing something else, and they don't think to refrigerate it because it could make somebody sick. So the money saved there, that would have to be looked at real close. But I'll tell you what my biggest problem is with the former sheriff. Before the election 4 years ago, I asked him, and Obama was president. We knew what was going on with the guns, still is. The polls were telling us that Hillary was leading by 11 to 16 points, the same as they're saying about Joe Biden now. And so I asked the former sheriff. I didn't have anything against him. Seems like he's a nice man. Has a lot of years in law enforcement. Sometimes there does come a time when you hang up your spurs. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's commendable. But I asked him, I said, if you get a mandate from Washington, or in other words, an executive order, Obama had a pen and a phone, that said that you're to go around and collect the people's guns. I said, what would you do? And his answer to me was, I will not arrest any law-abiding citizen. It's pretty vague if you ask me, because what's gone on with the COVID thing, all these governors, especially in these Democrat states, the governors, the mayors, it don't have to be a Democrat state. It can be a Democrat mayor, like in Texas, Austin, San Antonio. They were arresting people for trying to go to church and stuff, but you can get out and protest and break windows and burn down buildings and stuff, So the sheriff does not answer to the governor. The sheriff does not answer to any mayor. The sheriff answers to the people of the county that elected him. So whether you're a law-abiding citizen or not can change overnight with a executive order from a mayor or a governor. Mayor in Muldrow had the basketball goals taken down. Seriously? In a public park that taxpayers pay for. Whatever. But the shall not be infringed in the Constitution, that's very important. Our local sheriff is our last line of defense. We, the people, are also his last line of defense. The sheriff of our county, no matter who it is, needs to know that there's people in this county that will step up, and you can deputize them, and they will stand behind you 100%. I feel real confident about that. We have some very, very fine people in this county. But also, we got the very same people that aren't going to be treaded on very, very much at all. I asked the current sheriff, I said, how would you feel if you got a mandate like that? Or would you defend the Constitution and uphold the Constitution? He said, yes. He said, I have taken an oath to defend and uphold the Constitution of the United States. He said, that includes the Second Amendment. He's also a hunter. He's a gun person. And when I get a vague answer from a politician, even if it is a sheriff, that concerns me. I don't know why this sheriff has come out so hard against our current sheriff. Maybe he's butthurt because he got beat last time. Like I said, sometimes it's time to hang up your spurs and go with what you got. But your answer, Mr. Lockhart, was insufficient. It was very vague. I will not arrest a law-abiding citizen, but the mayor or the mayor of Sallisaw signs something that immediately you're not a law-abiding citizen. So you're going to arrest them? You're going to take their guns. That's how it sounded. You avoided my answer on Facebook. You said that I'd already said I wasn't going to vote for you, so all I wanted to do was argue. No, I wanted your point of view 4 years later. And so 4 years later, no, sir, I will not vote for you. I'll be voting for Larry Lane because he has proved that, yes, the Sheriff's Department is professional. They're not sitting down here on Swan Road on Wednesday night when people are going to church, having a roadblock, stopping law-abiding citizens like was going on when you were Sheriff, Mr. Lockhart. Roadblocks set up all over the place. Do I have anything to hide? No, sir, I don't. But I like to travel from point A to point B. That's called freedom without being interfered with. One day down on Bockham Road, 10 o'clock on a Thursday morning, there's two sheriff's deputies sitting there. I pull up. They said, "How are you?" I said, "I'm fine. How are you?" I just kind of looked at them. I said, "What can I do for you?" They said, well, this is a safety check. I had somewhere to go. I was busy. I said, "I'm safe." "Well, no, that's not quite what we mean. We need to see your driver's license." I said, "For what?" "Well, we're just kind of checking everybody." I said, "What are you checking them for what?" I said, "You wanting their papers? You asking for people's papers?" This was going on under the former sheriff. And he said, "No," he said, "I'll tell you the truth." He said, "We're out here looking for tweakers." I said, "Excuse me? It's 10 o'clock in the morning. You boys need to get a little bit of training because the tweakers are out from about 10 o'clock midnight to about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and then they take their asses home." It was ridiculous. All the time. One St. Patrick's Day, they set up a roadblock down at Roland and had 50 cops out there, and I mean, it's crazy. Fire department don't drive around looking for fires. You don't need to either. I will not vote for Ron Lockhart because he will follow the wants of the government. If an executive order came down from Hillary Clinton that said, "You go collect those people's guns," boom, he's on it. No, sir, it says shall not be infringed. Now, you should be proud of your career, but you should hang up your spurs and retire. It's time. Y'all vote for Larry Lane. He's a good man. He's a good sheriff.